how are you doing? I am Anya Homer, the baby reflux lady, and today I am talking about whether or not infant reflux is genetic. This is a question I get asked a lot, and the simplest thing is, or the reason this comes up, I suppose, first place to start is, well, my partner had reflux and therefore is my baby going to have it? Or one baby has it, is it likely the next child is going to have reflux? Or I had reflux as a child, does that mean my baby's going to have reflux? The answer is that none of these mean if you had reflux, if your partner had reflux, if your baby's sibling had reflux, none of them mean that your baby is going to have reflux. So in that element, reflux is it's not genetic as such. However, there are some causes of reflux that are genetic. These don't mean that a baby will have reflux. What it means is that there's a genetic component to reflux. Does this make sense? And with every single child, even if it is genetic, we still need to look at the expression of those genes, see what's actually presenting in real life. Just because something has a genetic connection doesn't mean that there's nothing we can do about it. Does that make sense? So, for example, some of the connections to genes would be the MTHFR gene and an expression of that in particular. It's not a gene mutation. It's not that anything's wrong with it. It's an expression of it, which means, which influences how our body processes folic acid and converts it into folate. Now, for some of us, we have a less equipped ability or less efficient ability to convert folic acid into folate. And for others, it's really, really easy. For those of us who have a challenge, this means that there is a higher risk of an oral restriction, a tongue-tie restriction, a midline sort of underdevelopment, for want of a better word. Now, some children with tongue ties have no problems with reflux. Some children with tongue ties have problems with reflux. Just because a child has a tongue tie does not mean that they will have reflux. And just because a baby has reflux does not mean they have a tongue tie. Equally, not all babies with tongue ties have reflux. And even those who do have reflux with a tongue tie, it's not always guaranteed to be the tongue tie that's causing it. Let me know if this sort of riddle approach is working. Is this making sense? What we need to do for every child is look at exactly what is going on for them. How is things being expressed? It doesn't really matter if there's a genetic component or not. It doesn't stop us from understanding what is going on for them and therefore what actions we can take to help them. Okay, so yes, baby reflux can be genetic in some cases because there can be a genetic undercurrent to it. For example, FUT2 gene that, if it's expressed incorrectly, can produce lactose, a long-term lactose intolerance. And this is a true lactose intolerance. This is lactose intolerance to human lactose, not even to bovine lactose. Again, when we understand what's going on, we alter the diet of breastfeeding parent, or we alter the milk the child is drinking, and we understand how that works. Children who are born with cleft lip and palate, that is also a genetic thing. It doesn't mean that they have to have reflux. It means that for a lot of these children, they're drinking air because of the cleft lip and palate that they might have, and the lack of seal that they can have around a breast or bottle tissue. So they're taking in lots of air. And it is the air that's then causing their reflux, not directly the gene. When these children have the corrective surgery, well, very often they are able to drink properly without drinking lots of air. And there's lots of things we can do for these children in the meantime to make them more comfortable. Is this making sense? While there is a genetic component to infant reflux, it's not genetic. So just because, I'll say it again, because I said at the beginning, a lot of people have joined, just because a parent or a grandparent or a sibling has had reflux does not guarantee that baby is going to have reflux, nor should it influence anything that we do for them. We need to see it's not the gene that makes a difference, it's how the gene is expressed, and actually how it's expressed we see in how baby is presenting, how baby is behaving, what symptoms and signs are they experiencing. When we start to understand exactly what is going on for any child, this is when we get to make specific changes. We take specific action, we get specific, really specific in addressing what's actually going on for these children, and then we get phenomenal changes quickly. Does that make sense? The place to get these answers of understanding what is going on for your child is our online workshop. Okay, the workshop is designed to walk you through understanding and capturing all of the symptoms, behaviors, and signs that are going on for your child, supporting your observational skills, recording what is going on, and then, based on that alone, figuring out what is the best course of action for you to take to help them be free from reflux. Okay, so we're going to finish this and say, while there are genetic components to reflux, baby reflux itself, infant reflux itself, is not genetic. And we shouldn't use that as an excuse to say, oh, we can't do anything about it. Because if anybody knows anything about genetics, the genes we have are only 20%. The epigenetics, the environment in which we those genes thrive and live and grow, that's 80%. So the genes are one thing, but 80% is the environment, and we get to control the environment of our genes. We do that through diet. We do that through exercise. We do that through life. We do that through supplements. We do that through so many other things, like sleep is another great one. We get to control the environment of our genes. Anyway, that's it from me. I will be back shortly in another few days talking about poo. And for any professionals who are watching this, make sure that you have signed up for my free webinar on Tuesday, the 15th of February and Thursday, the 17th of February, a series of 2 webinars. The content's going to be different. This is all for people who work with infants or people who want to work with infants where babies have reflux and want to change the world. All right, that is it from me.